He is legendary.
Legendary. Speaking of dairy,
My favorite kind of milk.
I'm having yogurt. This is not dairy yogurt, though. This is almond milk, or else I'd, have a bad time.
Are you lactose intolerant?
Oh, very. Yes, you didn't know that? We had to have talked about this.
Not based on the amount of cheese pizza that you've had when you were here.
Okay,
I don't think
like
we
that
had
doesn't
ice cream.
No, ice cream I can't do unless I take Lactaid. I had a Blizzard today from Dairy Queen, and I took Lactaid with it. So if I get up urgently and run off camera, the blizzard is hitting. There's a blizzard.
There's a storm of brewing.
There's a blizzard coming. Some may call it an avalanche.
Oh God. Okay.
But no, I can't do high concentrations of dairy. Cheese pizza is fine, or if it's in stuff, it's fine.
Welcome to the Basement Bird Show.
Yeah. When was the last time that you had dairy milk? Because the last time I had dairy milk was 7th grade.
You haven't had milk since then?
Nope.
Real milk out of cow?
Correct.
Dude, whole milk was my go-to as a child. I tell you what.
That's why you're so tall.
It is. It actually is. Whole milk and
So
Wheaties.
whole milk.
I
milk
had
and
a big
Wheaties.
old
What a combo.
plate of spaghetti today. I don't know.
Okay.
This probably grosses out the non-milk drinkers.
I don't know where this is going.
Huge plate of spaghetti, and I wanted nothing more than a big tall glass of milk with it. I tell you what.
Okay.
That is just the bee's knees of combinations. I mean, I don't know if that's just because that's what I had as a child, was a big tall glass of milk when I had spaghetti.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. But milk and spaghetti are the ultimate duo.
I mean, I was the same way. Growing up, every, lunch and dinner growing up, it was milk. I'd take a thermos of milk for lunch, because the Got Milk campaign scammed us into thinking that milk is big and everything. But then, some of their claims weren't, correct. But anyway, so I was drinking milk, and then, it was 7th grade, and I'm like, Mom, I don't feel so good after I drink said milk, my tummy's rumbling, And it was, there were some more avalanches than there should have been, So then we're like, oh, maybe we don't drink the milk, That's how I found out I was lactose intolerant.
Because the only other person that I know that is from Wisconsin is also lactose intolerant. So do you think it's because of the cheese state?
I don't know.
Do you think that has something to do with it?
I've also heard that lactose intolerance can, I don't know what the word is, but you can develop it later in life.
Really?
Growing up, you can be fine, and as your body matures and stuff, it can develop. Because I believe the thing too is that the anomaly, or what's the word, the medical term for it? I can't remember the exact name. But the normal thing for humans is that it's normal to be lactose intolerant. The people that are able to digest it are the exception to it, essentially. If that makes sense.
That sounds false. So you're saying that people shouldn't be able to digest dairy, but the people that can digest dairy are the irregular
I believe
people.
so. I feel like I heard that sometime.
Okay, there's no way that is true at all.
I don't know.
The amount of people that eat dairy compared to the non-dairy consumers.
Yeah, but there's a lot of people that that eat dairy that are lactose intolerant and just deal with it.
That we're gonna need to check that fact.
Okay,
check.
let me check. I'm looking. Okay, here we go. Worldwide, around 65% of adults are affected by lactose malabsorption.
Oh. Okay.
Well, I think it's also odd that we're the only species on Earth that consumes the milk of another animal.
We're also the only species on Earth that do a lot of things, that drive in cars, for example.
You don't know what they're doing in those Amazon forests and everything.
I know they're not driving in no cars. I can tell you that.
You never know. Yeah, here we go. Normally, most mammals normally cease to produce lactase, become lactose intolerant after weaning. Okay. The down regulation of lactase expression. Oh, this is about mice now, but I'm not a mouse. So, anyway, I'm lactose intolerant, and you may be too. Not you specifically. That was a royal you.
Well, I'm most food intolerant. Actually, I'm kind of the opposite.
Yeah?
So I don't digest fat. Right? I don't. My body doesn't. My pancreas doesn't work correctly and produce the enzymes that you need to digest fat,
to break down fat,
and some proteins. So I have to take enzymes when I eat anything in order to properly absorb the nutritions in the food. It's called being pancreatic insufficient for people with cystic fibrosis. And
is your pancreas? That's something that you can live without, right?
No. Well, I mean, you can, I think, technically, but you become diabetic. A lot of people with cystic fibrosis are diabetic because their pancreas doesn't work correctly.
Okay.
And so the enzymes that I take are actually made from pig pancreases, funny enough. So.
Oh, that's wild.
Yeah, there's your medical analysis for the day.
The pancreas regulates blood sugar and aids digestion. You can live without it, but you may need to take medication to obviously, deal with it. Huh, interesting.
Yeah. So,
interesting.
That's kind of one of my many ailments, as it were. My pancreas doesn't work.
There you go.
So whenever I drank a big tall glass of whole milk, I had to take enzymes, even though because there's fat in the whole milk. So
sure. Yeah.
That's when
Interesting. How interesting.
Yeah. So that's not at all what we were going to talk about, but
no.
You know what? I don't like where that conversation went.
Yeah, that was fun.
But we were off last week for some various reasons. We had very busy weeks last week. I had some interesting things going on, but you did too. What did you have? Do you have? Was it something going on that was interesting for you? Or?
The team I work for was just in town. But the one thing I want to talk about is what's happening tomorrow. Our staff is going to a Pirates game. Okay.
Are you dressing like pirates? Like Patty the Pirate from SpongeBob?
That would be good. That would be good. But unfortunately, I don't have anything to dress as a pirate. But one thing I thought about is that I want to get your thoughts on this. Every time I go to a sporting event, regardless of the venue that it is, regardless that if I have been to the venue before or not, I am always someone that is taking a lap around the concourse before I take my seat.
Oh, yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Is this something you do as well? Like, I could go, I've been to PNC, I don't know, a handful of times at this point, maybe 7 or 8 times since I moved out here, and every time I go there, I'm always taking a lap around the concourse. Got to see if the food options have changed, got to see what the drink options are. I'm going to the game today, and I'm also going to a game on Sunday, and because even if I'm going to games literally 4 days apart, I will still take the lap around the concourse, okay? I don't know if that's a popular take, or the concept of me going to a sporting event, going a quarter of the way around the seating bowl, say we're at a hockey arena, finding my section, finding food outside my section, and going to my seat and sitting down is crazy to me. I got to get the lay of the land. I got to see what's all out there. The best food may not be outside my section, Is that something you do too? You on board with that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Are you kidding me?
Good.
I've been to the United Center so many times.
Yeah.
But I feel like when I go to the United Center, I always end up seeing someone there that I know. Just because, I mean, there's 20,000 people there.
Yeah.
You're liable to know somebody who's a hockey fan, right?
Yeah.
And so that's part of the reason. You got to get up, stretch the legs a little bit in the intermission.
Yeah.
Got to find where the restrooms are. You got to know.
Before the game,
boom.
You've been driving, got to stretch the legs from the drive,
Yep. Even when we were in New York, we went to the Garden, Madison Square Garden, the historic venue.
And can we talk about how it's not a square?
Well, it's not, but I'd like to say that we didn't do an adequate enough job exploring the venue because I felt like everything was rushed.
No.
It's not made for people to walk around the concourse. The garden.
Granted, where we were was very narrow.
Yes.
The concourse was very small. So we did the best lap we could while weaving through people. But I will say, I went back later with my dad and brother, And we sat on the lower bowl. The lower bowl concourse is nice. Did a full lap of that, of course. Had to get the sights and sounds, and because there's cool stuff on the walls. Like when I go to Penguins games in Pittsburgh, they have a whole wall of all the jerseys of the youth programs in the state. Or like at PNC, a baseball stadium. You're outside, you can see all the sights and sounds around the ballpark. It's like it's like a required thing for me.
Yep. No, I definitely feel that, and I. Thank you for reminding me of that, because the last 2 times that I've been to Wrigley Field have been for concerts. Haven't been to a Cubs game in a long time, and I'm going next month.
Okay.
In about a month from actually almost like today.
Nice.
And I will have to be taking a lap around.
Yeah.
Wrigley's weird, though, because you can't circle the whole ballpark. I don't know if PNC is that way.
PNC, you can go all the way around, yeah.
If you sit in the bleachers at Wrigley, you have a separate entrance. You have a separate everything is separate for the bleachers.
Gotcha.
Granted, I guess we're sitting on the rooftop, so I guess we can't even do that. So
so you're not even in the stadium.
Correct. We're across the street.
Oh, interesting. That would be a cool experience. Have you ever sat on the rooftops before?
No, I have not.
Interesting.
I knew someone who sat on the rooftop. One of my good friends sat there for the Winter Classic back in 2010 when the Hawks took on the Red Wings. And that was the second ever Winter Classic. That was like when it was still a really big thing, and now there's like 800 outdoor games a year.
Yeah,
that was
like
like
the Stadium
a big
Series.
deal,
Yeah,
Yeah. So, but I'm looking forward to it. It should be interesting.
Yeah.
I haven't seen a Major League Baseball game. I was trying to think about the last time I was. I mean, it was definitely well before COVID.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, sure.
I mean, I think Nicole and I went and sat in the bleachers. I mean, I had to be like early high school, like sophomore in high school. So that was. I mean, we're coming up on almost 10 years out of high school now for me. I mean,
yeah.
So that was probably 10 years ago. Was the last time I was there. So
yeah.
It was. And I know we've talked about this before, but I have a pretty high-ranking position with the Chicago Cubs.
You threw a first pitch there.
I threw the first pitch.
Yeah.
The final game of the 2023 or the 2013 season. It was against the Pittsburgh Pirates, and the Pirates blew them out of the water. It was atrocious.
Wow. But were the Pirates feeling okay that day?
Well, they were playing the Cubs, so I mean that's not that's not really anything to be.
It was the Pirates
writing home about. But after that point is when they started their run to win the World Series in 2015.
Okay,
it was
sure.
2014, right?
No, they won in 2016, I believe.
2016. So it was from that point.
16 or 17.
Strapped them to 16. A rocket.
Yes.
And shot them to the moon. Thank you very much. You're welcome, Cubs fans.
Yeah, anyway. There you go. Boom. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I bring that up too because the one thing I thought about too is tomorrow when we get into the ballpark, with the group of people that I'm with, if no one suggests taking a lap, I'll be the person to suggest taking the lap.
Yeah.
Will
you take the lap by yourself if no one else wants to do it?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I'm still taking the lap. I don't care. I'm taking the lap regardless. I'll probably look at everyone and be like, what are we thinking? Food, drinks? Should we take a lap? You always got to throw it in with other options, That's what I do when I'm with a group, I'll be like, food, drinks, lap, and everyone's like, yeah, we can take a walk. I'm like, great, I can take my lap. You can get your food. You can get your drinks, whatever you want, and I get my lap in. It's great.
Even the last time I went to a Frontier League game, that's it's independent. That's independent baseball out here in the good old Midwest. I took a lap around and that's another one you can't lap all the way around, but you can get pretty far.
But you
can
take
get all the way down the right field
line,
and you can get about 25% past left field. So you got to
take the lap. Got to take the lap. Get the lay of the land.
Explore a little bit.
Yeah. Especially if you're to a new venue, new venues, obviously, absolutely taking a lap. But even venues I've been to a million times, still going to take the lap. What's
the favorite venue you've ever been to?
Oh, that's a good question. Wow, that's a really good one. PNC Park is up there, honestly, because the view of the Pittsburgh skyline is unmatched in baseball, in my opinion. So that one's up there. Probably that's probably my favorite outdoor venue I've been to. Favorite indoor venue?
Just be careful not to fall.
Yes, I know. I had a feeling you're going to bring that up. Yes. Yes, thank you. I won't. We're sitting behind home plate, so I'm good. Favorite indoor venue? The new arena that the Islanders built is really nice inside.
What do they call that? They're not in the.
It's the
Coliseum.
UBS Arena.
Oh.
UBS Arena. It's by you know where the Belmont Stakes are? The horse race?
Yeah.
Third leg of the Triple Crown. Here's another question for you. I posed this question to my game day staff the other day because I do questions of the day with my camera operators.
Last episode, I remember this.
You can name the 3 legs of the Triple Crown?
No.
No? Okay. Well, you got some learning to do.
Okay. The Derby.
Anywho. So it's UBS Arena at by Belmont Park, and that's probably the nicest indoor venue I've been to. Granted, it is, I don't know, 3 years old at this point, so it is very new and very nice inside. But that was probably the nicest indoor venue I've been to.
What do you think of Climate Pledge Arena? I'll tell you what mine is in a second, but they've got the 2
I haven't been.
Jumbotrons.
I want to get out to Seattle to see a game there. I think it looks really cool. I think the way they constructed that is really neat, with essentially keeping the roof and gutting the inside. That was a really cool process that they did, and I think it turned out really good.
Yeah, no, I agree. But
the 2 3-sided video boards are pretty slick too.
Yeah.
That's a cool way to implement it. I don't know, I think a center hung display would have worked just fine there, but it's something unique, and it adds kind of to the uniqueness of the building.
Yeah.
So I'm all for it.
I can feel that.
I want to get out there. I want to do like a Seattle, Vancouver, Pacific Northwest trip.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that would be neat.
I'd do that. We should do that together. We can
There
go
we
to
go.
Seattle.
Yeah.
We can go to LA is right over in California. Hit San Jose.
What?
LA
Did you realize how? Hold on.
Right?
Did you realize how far Los Angeles and Seattle are? You have a whole state between the states that they're in, Logan.
It's a potato.
It would be. We could do a Seattle Vancouver trip would be most likely. And then hit there's Olympia or Olympic National Park there. There's a lot of like nature stuff there as well that we could hit. Mount Rainier is over there, you know.
I've been there. It was cloudy though when we went. Yeah.
Oh, that's too bad.
There's a lot of trees in Seattle. Last time I was in Seattle, I broke my front tooth in half when I was biting my nails.
Yeah.
And I had broken it once in 5th grade. I fell on my face because I'm not what you call a coordinated athlete.
You're clumsy.
I fell flat on my face.
It
was actually on my front tooth. I fell on it and cracked it in half. And the dentist literally took it and glued it back onto the other half of the tooth. And so then in Seattle, it broke again.
Oh, now, obviously, I think I've heard this story. Now you're scarred for life.
At home.
Yeah.
And so now I have to wait a week of having half a front tooth like a hillbilly. Walking around, kind of but then I really felt like a hockey player because then I can give people and then really just look like a tough guy.
Yeah, even though you didn't lose it playing hockey, but that's okay.
I didn't have to tell people.
You didn't have to tell people how you lost it.
No.
Yeah, just be like, I took a clapper the one game, and but I stayed in the game,
A clap
you
bomb.
can play it up as much as you want.
Seattle's really nice. I think though my favorite venue of all, it has to be the United Center, right? I feel like that's the venue that I've been to the most, so I feel like I'm a little biased. Yeah, I've been there for concerts.
The UC's nice.
I've been there for hockey games. I've been there for basketball games. It's a very diverse space. The concourse is very spacious and allows for good movement. Yeah. They built in the Jordan statue, so that's all part of the inside, like the concourse now, which is really cool.
That is very cool. Did that used to be outside?
Yeah, the Jordan statue was outside.
And then I assume they kept the statue, but they just extended the building out to cover it, essentially?
Yeah, so there was
I didn't know that.
offices and stuff, and so they basically like connected two buildings with like a building. I believe the offices were there. Maybe the offices weren't even there, but this is a relatively recent development.
So how recent are we talking? Like last 5 years, last 10 years?
10 years probably.
Okay,
now.
I gotcha. Okay.
But they do some cool stuff in that by the Jordan statue. Like they had like a little Christmas expose. They have the new
That's cool.
Chicago Sports Network CSN studio kind of on the first level, so you can kind of walk around and be seen in the background.
That's neat.
When they do their live shots from the arena, which is cool.
Yeah.
Because they used to do it over by like section 110, I think, in the actual concourse, and it was always a little tight there, and so there's a lot more space there. The food is good. Got to get yourself some soft serve ice cream when you're going to the UC up at the 300 level, which is great. The queues for the lines not exactly fantastic, but you can also pre-order your food, which is really nice.
Oh, that is cool. I will say too, I was very impressed by Pittsburgh's arena the first time that I went there as well, and I think it's a really, really solid arena. I've been to Penn's games and concerts there, and it's a pretty like average capacity wise arena, but their concourse is laid out well. They have a lot of space. They have really good food options. They have a lot of self-serve kiosks, which I'm a big self-serve guy when it comes to a stadium, because it just helps stuff move along so much easier, I feel. So I was pleasantly surprised by Pittsburgh's arena as well.
Yeah, and I think we're getting towards odd news time here, but I mean, there's the self-serve. There's been some controversy with that. Like they had one of those Amazon Fresh grocery stores.
Oh,
and they closed it, or they didn't close it, but they made it all like you have to check out now. They don't.
The United Center had one of those that I tried when we were there for that preseason game. You just tap your card when you walk in, grab what you need, and walk out. It's kind of odd.
Yeah. Oh, and when I worked in the Prudential building, they had one. It was great. You didn't have to talk to anybody. You walk in.
Yeah.
You scan a code, grab what you want, and leave.
Yeah,
but then I always thought it was a little weird how it took some time. Like sometimes it took a couple hours to process. Sometimes it was immediate.
Yeah.
But that was because there was people in India who had to look at the footage and make sure it got it right.
Make sure you weren't stealing?
Yeah.
Well, they had to verify
it wasn't
everything.
Actually. Yeah, it was. But it was every single transaction. That kind of takes the appeal off of it.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So it was like that's why they're getting rid of these stores, because it just takes so long. It wasn't actually it took long, but it wasn't like what they said it was.
Sure. That makes sense.
But
very
anyway.
Interesting. I didn't know that. Well, maybe I will. Maybe I could take some photos from my lap around PNC tomorrow, and I can share them with you or share them with the class.
Yes. Please do. You can post them on the Instagram, since I don't ever post anything on the Instagram.
There we go. Maybe I'll get a little video, and I could do that little speeded up thing, where I fly around the whole concourse.
A hyperlapse. It's called a
hyperlapse. Yes, that's the word I'm looking for, and it's me taking my lap around PNC.
Yeah.
Yeah, that wouldn't be bad. I'm very much looking forward to the game tomorrow, though.
You could take your road mic and interview people. Now we're really getting complicated.
That's a lot.
Oh my gosh! What the heck?
That's a lot of work.
Sorry,
what's going on over there?
My chair is freaking out.
Oh, gosh.
Okay, well, it's time for odd news.
It is. Would you like to go first?
Yeah, so...
Lead us off.
When you were a child...
Yeah.
Did you think that messages in a bottle were a way bigger deal than they actually are? Like, I always thought
absolutely.
When I would go buy a body of water... I would see a bottle with a message in it, and I could, retrieve.
Oh yeah, like multiple of them. Yeah, like they would be like everywhere. Yes.
It looks like someone just dumped a whole case of just lots of floating bottles in the ocean.
Yep.
Well, apparently, in Poland, some young boys found a message in a bottle from 1959.
Holy.
Are you kidding me?
That's crazy.
This was a pair of 10-year-old boys who were walking near a beach in Poland, found a message in a bottle that was handwritten.
That's a good song.
A handwritten love letter. Yes, it is. From 1959.
Wow.
So they found the bottle while hiking. along the World War II fortifications near Stogie Beach in Gdansk. Don't know what that word is.
Verdansk?
GD. No, it's Dansk. I think that G must be silent. Dansk.
Probably a silent
Faded
letter somewhere in there.
note was written by a girl identified only as Rycia.
Yeah, I wouldn't want my name being exposed if I just saw my love letter wash up on shore.
She addressed the letter to someone named Benny and spoke of feeling lovey at school in Tarnow and thinking fondly of her memories of the intended recipient. Wow. So I
could have been an
you,
independent recipient as well.
I assure you that I am quiet and modest and do not make friends with anyone. I simply avoid men, Rycia wrote. My dear, I am a terrible egoist. I only write about myself, but I only think about you. I see you at every moment. Now, this is
Wow, that is.
We should be taking notes here on how to
pulling
how
at
to talk
the
to a woman.
heartstrings. Yeah.
I know. Yeah,
Holy.
this is just.
I mean, I need it more than you do. You're engaged, but
The boys who found the bottle said they've been in contact with a museum in Tarnow to place this message in a bottle into a museum.
wow.
I mean, that is
interesting.
just. I'm going to read. Did you ever put a message in a bottle? I did that when I was younger. I put one in a bottle and I threw it into the bathtub, and then I found it and I felt accomplished, but that's okay. True story, actually.
You did not say that.
I did. That's a true story.
Oh my gosh.
I
found
it.
Nut.
Yeah, well.
Oh my
tough
gosh.
nut to crack, my friend.
Something like that. Something like that. Well, you know what's a tough nut to crack? A world record.
That is true.
But there is one man that
God.
can crack those nuts better than anyone else, and it is.
I bet he has a record for that. I bet he
Who
does.
else? Who else? David Rush. Okay, this
Dave.
one. This is a weird one. He beat one of his own records this time. This was the amount of water that you can transfer between two containers in 30 seconds using only your hands.
Using only your hands.
Correct.
Was this a record that was set before the invention of a bucket?
It must have been, but he did it. So also made an absolute mess of the set here in Guinness's headquarters. Hopefully they had a tarp down.
Oh boy.
He said it took him 5 years of attempts to break the record of water moved by hands in 30 seconds, where he finally broke it in 2024 with 112.4 ounces of water successfully transferred. Okay, how many ounces in a gallon for a frame of reference? A gallon is 128 fluid ounces. That makes it sound a lot less impressive. He moved just under a gallon of water in 30 seconds with his hands.
I feel like this was a record we could do. Like,
listen to this though; it gets better. Okay, maybe we couldn't. Oh, here we go. He said several attempts were disqualified due to rule violations, including his pitcher of water was moving slightly or using a non-approved surface. I don't know what a non-approved surface means, but he took aim at his record and, as he said, obliterated it with 172 ounces, so about a gallon and a half, or here we go, 1.3 gallons of water moved. Okay? And you may think that he's just some silly guy from Idaho that breaks records, Logan, but there are lessons to be learned in all of this. You know, these are learning experiences for him. He said that this taught him that persistence pays off. The weirdest goals can lead to rewarding victories, and sometimes breaking your own record is even sweeter than setting the first one. If those aren't words to live by Mr. David Rush, I don't know what is.
I feel like that should go on a T-shirt or something. That should be like
don't give him any
David Rush
ideas. He may
T-shirt.
start selling it though. Yeah,
I bet he does.
We still got to get him on the show.
Can we contact his publicist?
We got to find a way. Does he have one?
I would imagine he has. How many? I mean, he should have. I bet he has a record for most records. I feel like.
Yes, that's what he has. He has the record for the most records.
Yeah.
Speaking, I just found one other story. Can I bring this up quick? I saw this on TikTok. Did you see this robot that solved the Rubik's Cube in 0.1 seconds?
Yes.
Isn't that insane?
Yes.
We don't need to talk about this fully, but from Purdue, they have this robot that solved it in 103 milliseconds, and that is faster than the human eye can blink. So literally, before you realized it was moving, they solved it, which is insane.
It looks like someone just snapped their finger, like it cut the video.
That's
was so
exactly
fast.
what it looks like. Yes.
Yeah.
Insane.
It's like all of a sudden, boom, done.
Yeah. Sorry, I just saw that as well and had to bring it up because I think it's remarkable. Because like the slow motion footage is just nutty of how it works. Like, it's just like boom, solved. I don't even know how the robot like detects. Like, there's a big bright flash of light, which I can assume is for the cameras that they have, using with it and stuff. But
those slow motion cameras require.
They need a lot of light.
A lot of light.
Yeah. But I thought that was crazy too. That probably could have been my original odd news. But when David Record Breaker rushes on the UPI, I gotta talk about him. So
Rush,
that's what they referred to him as in this article. Yeah,
I love it. I love it. All right. Yeah. Well, gotta go prepare for our record breaking attempt.
Yeah, what are we doing? Are we doing the water? We could do the water.
I think the water. We have to find out what the non-approved surfaces are, so we don't use those surfaces.
I still don't know what that means. You have to do tile instead of hardwood, or what? Like, what do we?
All right. Well, when Reid figures that out, I'll tell you that we have social media platforms that we'll be sure to post that on at some point, or you can see Reid's photos from
if I remember to
Park
do this
tomorrow.
Yeah,
you're
I'll
gonna
take
remember.
Some pictures if I remember.
You'll remember. I'll make sure of it. I'll make sure of it. So,
okay.
At
that
Basement Birds on all of the platforms.
Yeah.
Until next time, we'll catch you on the next one.
See ya.
Later.